And if we hold
Tonight's special guest on Muzohub is Mr. Andy Garlick.
say goodnight.
G'day and welcome to Muzohub. This is episode number 20, and this week my special guest is Mr. Andy Garlick. G'day, Andy.
G'day, John. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Good to finally get you in. I've been threatening to do it for a long time, but finally got you in. We're just going to get straight into it. The Andy Garlick musician story. Where does it all start, and how have you got to where you are today?
Oh, look, I think musician's a bit heavy, John.
Too heavy?
Yeah, I was a bit of a late starter when I talked to, the contemporaries around town, and I started about 11 years of age.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it was basically, same old story. Growing up, and there was actually a girl across the road and another girl I knew at school. They both went to school and they were learning.
Yeah.
And I thought I was interested, but I think I was probably more interested in spending a bit of time with them. But then they fell away and I kept going. So that was
So what was your first influences? What actually got you into the music other than them? Did you have an inclination to play before that? Or?
Look, I think. Well, I was encouraged by my first guitar teacher, which was Snowy Jensen. People might remember Snowy. And Snowy had been around for years out our way and had played a lot. So he was influential at the point when I got there, I guess. Yeah. And he was a great mentor for a young bloke because, you were playing sport. And he recognised that and encouraged that you do your practice, especially early on when you're really not, you haven't got the hang of it and it's a little frustrating. And go out and you play your sport and have a hit of cricket with the brothers and neighbours and whatnot, and then back into it. And caught on within about 6 months, and then I couldn't put the thing down. So he was great. And then he got to the point where he said, I can't teach you anymore. And I kept going for a good couple of years after that.
So professional musos out there, bands and things, what influences?
Oh, look, I played with Shane Kendall, Andrew Collins, who was a neighbour of mine. That's how I'd met Shane in the mid-teens. And that first band, Shane was... Yeah, pretty influential. I started to... I was brought up with, Beatles and Bee Gees and this sort of stuff. And, then all of a sudden there was Jimi Hendrix, and there was, that sort of stuff. So
Floyd and stuff, you're right.
Floyd and those, and all the early Floyd stuff, which a lot of people didn't know what was going on. And we played that sort of stuff, and there was no one else sort of out there playing that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So... what was the first live gig that you attended? Do you remember? Do you remember attending a gig that maybe you sat there and thought, I wouldn't mind doing this one day?
Gee, that's a bit of a rock quiz question that I was hoping to dodge forever. I think the first live thing that I ever saw was Johnny Chester with Mum, because Dad didn't want to go, and it's understandable. But I mean, the first big live thing, international live thing that I saw was Pink Floyd.
Okay,
yeah. And that was interesting.
That was interesting. A big jump up from Johnny Chester.
Oh, look, it was great. Yeah.
So songwriting, have you always written songs, or have you just started that lately, or?
No, I started to tinker. I think I've still got an old piece of paper with some words and some chords on it from when I was playing with Snowy. Yeah. And I think that was probably 3-4 years in, so in those mid-teens. Oh no, it was probably a couple of years in, 13, 14.
Yeah.
Jotted down a song, and it sort of left to a degree. And I always played around, so I had little bits and pieces for years, and then into the late teens, early 20s. That's when it really started to. I just wanted to do it. I wasn't so much going, I'm going to sit down and write a song. I just always had little bits and pieces floating around,
And how would you describe your style? Have you got a specific, do you slot into a genre, or is it?
I don't know. It's hard because, I mean, you spend so long. I mean, I go back to watching the likes of those that were just those few years, which is a lot of years when you're younger. Those fellas that were a little bit younger than you, you know, the Jace Waters, Matt Chapman type fellas, and seeing those young blokes who just did what they did. Didn't matter. They just did what they did, and I think it took me a while to work out what it was that I did, and not sort of fight that, and sort of go with, well, this is what I do. This is, you know, there's no point trying to do something that you don't. And it's developed. So I mean, I can't answer it. I don't know how you describe it. I mean, it's
Andy Garlick.
I don't think I'm anything greatly different, but I'm not quite sure where it fits.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of musos that fall into that, though. Really, when you think about it, there's no one's the same, are they? I mean, they fall into a category, but they're not. I mean, no one matches someone else.
If I had to talk about what interests me in terms of when I watch others, I mean, Jimmy Williams is, you know, probably one of those people that I admire greatly because he just writes what Jimmy Williams writes.
He's himself and he's unique. And
it's great stuff. And there's a story in nearly everything, you know, pretty much everything. And it's not straightforward. It makes you think sometimes.
It's a bit of that stuff, Paul Kelly's similar, isn't it?
That... You know, it's always great to hear a story and something that's not just, you know, it seems authentic.
Excellent. Recording, Andy, have you done any recording, or you're doing recording? Or?
Recording has eluded me. So, I started something many years ago on a reel-to-reel with Mick Ahern's rig. And some of the mob from helped me out from... Bridget Robertson's band at the time, so a couple of those fellas helped me out recording, and I got it started, and it never finished up. So look, I might use a bit of that stuff when I get around to it, but I'm sort of tinkering with doing some solos.
Getting back into some solos, gigs, where can people catch you playing? Is it a regular gig you do, or is it just more one-offs? Or?
No, it's more. I guess I've been kicked on a little bit by, of course, like quite a few have locally with the Blues and Roots Festival, and I mean the Gold Mines Hotel's been pretty good to us, and so the next one I've got is actually just a fundraiser for the Blues and Roots.
Blues and Roots.
It's the 25th
at the Rifle.
At the Rifle, yeah. So outside, and I'll be floating around there most of the day, sort of looking after the others that are playing, and do a few in the afternoon myself.
And you're in a band as well. I suppose you better mention that. You better talk about the boys. They'll be watching the Grinners, and they won't be happy if you don't mention them.
Yeah, no, look, that's got a phone call from a mate and wasn't sort of doing anything. He said he had a mate who was, playing in a band, and that was the late great Craig. Craig Pearce, so. Yeah, struck up a good friendship, and I mean, I enjoy the cover thing because it's more a get together, and just the fact that we love to play music. You know, there's no histrionics in it or anything. It's just, well, it can be sometimes, I guess, late into the night. It's more about, it's just great fun to whack on. One of these, and sort of make some noise.
Get up there.
Still enjoy that. Love it.
Excellent. Well, we might move on. Any other things you want to plug, or?
No, not really. I'll just keep floating around as normal.
As normal. So I'll pop up on the screen there Andy's Facebook address. That'd be okay. Pop that up, good. And so if people can have a look at that, can see where he's playing if he uses it. If he
use it every now and again. You might see the chooks or something on there.
Okay. So the song you're doing for us tonight, what can you tell us about that?
Oh, look, I think that's it's one of those songs where you know you get a bit sick to death of the old love songs, so to speak. So I've always thought, you know, things are a little more complex than that. So yeah, it is a little bit about the journey, you know, with a partner and family, and just where you get to, and I mean it's a little cryptic. And, you know, I don't like to go a long way into explaining songs, so to speak. But, yeah, look, I think it'll be what it is for whoever can make what they can out of it.
And it's a new song?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is pretty new, yeah. One of those open tuning things that I seem to be a bit stuck with at the moment,
Yeah. Very good. Oh, well, thanks for coming in tonight, Andy. No problem. And we'll catch you all next week. And here's Andy with his song, which I think he's just named Stand Still. Is that right?
That'll do.
Stand Still? Okay.
Right.
See you next week.
She passed this way, asked where we'll go. With no plans of escape, we're moving slow. But if we just stand still, let the rain appease our hills, and if we hold on tight as we say goodnight. No, we're not falling by the way or waning now. Execute our stay. She whispers it's time to mend and distill. But when they've all gone home, we'll be all alone. And when the lights go out, let there be no doubt. Execute our stay. Let there be no doubt. She doesn't need to be sanctioned by gods. She's painting with fire and knives, screams love. But if we just stand still, let the rain appease our hills, and if we hold on tight as we say goodnight. Execute our stay. Let there be when they've all gone home, we'll be all alone. And when the lights go out, let there be no doubt.
If you'd like to stay connected with Muzohub, don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter.